Hey there, welcome to episode 001 of Hamestar's first kitty week of WoW vidcast. Used a little bit loosely since this is 001 because hey, it's a beta. Whether or not I'll keep this up, not sure yet quite yet, but gonna give it a try and see what goes up with it. Anyhow, first of all, so that everybody knows, the weekly WoW news type videos that I suggest that people keep up with over the week is Twemo, This Week in MMO, and Legendary on Sundays and Thursdays on GameBreaker.tv, as well as the Weekly Marmot and PSD on Tankspot.com, and of course WoW Insider, who's currently looking for columnists. If anybody is interested in that, great way to, have a little fun and expand your WoW, as well as possibly make a little bit of money, probably not a lot. So first of all, a little bit about what some vidcasts brought up. Basically, this week, the weekly marmot was all about casual raiding. So if you're interested in joining a casual raiding guild or in one or thinking of making one, it's a great thing to take a listen to. Legendary basically had touching on a few different things such as queuing with friends coming up and the professions Q&A by Blizz, as well as new hairstyles and After Dark. They did basically a Thunderbluff attack on the PTR. It was actually recorded on a previous week, and their After Dark is actually played on Thursdays it comes up. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that they do have also Blizz Blues, the people who make Legendary does, and that's on Tuesdays. PST with Lore, he was all this week about loot systems, dungeon journal annoyances, weapons, oh my, they even mentioned kittens. Hey, great thing to talk about kittens always, right? Anyhow, on WoW Insider, there was quite a bit of news, and I'm just going to get into the general news that I got from different places and give you guys a heads up or whatnot. Anyhow, BlizzardCon tickets, those guys actually, the round one have already sold out. It actually took place on Saturday, and of course, just like every year, for a while now, it's sold out within minutes pretty much. Whether or not you got one, really, in all honesty, was based on pretty much about a second of difference between click times on people. The queues reached as high as 12,000 to 15,000, and some people got them, some people didn't. If you did, hey, great for you. There is another round, though, coming up, and that'll be on May 25th at 7 p.m. PST. I believe that it is only a 2-round system, though, so if you don't get it then, you are unfortunately out of luck. Swag Dog, by the way, will no longer be selling Blizzard licensed products as of June 1st. Anyone who purchases anything through to the end of May 31st will be able to get the item printed and shipped to them, but then that's going to be it. It does seem to indicate that Blizzard may very well be choosing to make their own stuff soon. Unfortunately, it's unlikely to change the prices down low for people, but, could be interesting to see what they come up with. Lefties, by the way, should be quite happy. It does appear that a Razor Naga appears to be in the works for the left-handers, so you may not have to compromise for too much longer. New achievements have also been data mined from the PTR, and basically they're regarding pets. Is the majority of them, and of course one of them will even reward you a pet for attaining it. So that way then you get a reward for collecting your pets that you have. Also, an achieve has arrived on the PTR for logging in during the 7th anniversary, and it does appear that there will be a tabard associated with it. No pet, however, though appears to be coming with it. They did also, by the way, data mine in the PTR that the new Bruise Fest and Hallows loot has already been found on there. It makes it possible that patch 4.2 will be the last one out until after Hallows in, which basically is in the end of October, so we'd give a fair bit of time to get through fire lines for people. Not too long in all likelihood, though. The Askadev number 7, that was actually on professions, and basically Liz wants to attempt to bring the fun in on several professions, such as fishing, archaeology, and basically a big thing also is that the Book of Glyphs is actually no longer going to be needed. So if you have any of those left and you don't have a character who needs them, you may actually want to try and sell those on the auction house to make some money while you can, because people are still looking for them. But basically, after they aren't needed anymore. The only thing that people will need to use is basically just the discovery spells, and they will actually get everything that's on the game at that point. So it's not going to be a problem for anybody. Also, basically there was a World of Warcraft numbers drop from 12 million to 11.4. That is 600,000 people, but really, you know, and WoW, in all honesty, that's just a drop in the buck. It's not a big thing. But, I mean, that could be impacted by some stuff, basically, such as Rift, ahem, and basically the reason partly that it could be impacting is that it is a pretty big MMO release, and it did go quite well. They also are, you know, Rift is managing to get their updates pretty much on a monthly basis at this point. Whether or not they're going to continue with that is questionable, but they do also have things such as scaling events, dynamic content, which WoW doesn't quite have, but Blizzard normally is pretty quick to pick up things that other games do that turn out well, so it's certainly not the end of WoW. Anybody who's trying to say that it's the death of WoW from something like this is basically kidding themselves. Now, the queuing with friends that I mentioned earlier, that's going to be for realms of other realms, basically, but they do have to be the same faction. It does appear that it is going to be a premium service, however. Nothing's been mentioned about price. It's likely that it will probably be packaged in basically with the Android and iOS app's premium features, which include guild chat and auction house access. So it may not be too bad. I mean, that is only $3 a month. And as much as that may seem a lot to some people, it does add a fair bit of usability in some ways. And in all honesty, the queuing with friends only needs one of the people to have premium access. So, I mean, if you have a group of friends and you all play together, but you're on different servers for different reasons, at just because of moves or something at some point, in reality, you could take turns paying the $3 a month. And if there's 5 of you all playing dungeons together from different realms, well, you know, once every 5th month playing $3 isn't that much. Admittedly, though, if only 4 of you were on one night and you wanted to still run something together and just pick up a 5th person, you would have to hope that one of the 4 that was on that night was the one who had actually paid for it. The dungeon journal actually appears to be quite a big thing right now, and part of the reason for that is it does take out, basically it makes it, you know, you don't have to figure out the mechanics on your own in a lot of ways, because it tells all the mechanics, but you do still have to figure out how to actually do it. Whether or not, you know, this affects all the guilds that normally have gone first before, and somebody else may get first, is a little bit questionable still. The patch also, by the way, has a bunch of new hairstyles for various races coming out in it. They actually do look quite neat, some of them. I particularly like a couple of the gnome ones myself. They are kind of anime-based, but it is quite interesting still. By the way, just so that people know, when patch 4.2 does come out, the Firelines patch, basically all your Valor points in the currency tab will be converted to Justice points. Now, basically they're doing that because they will be moving the current tier of the Valor down into the Justice level. Whether or not the Justice ones will stay, I don't know. They may be worth less, those ones, but in all likelihood the Valor ones will be worth what the Justice ones currently are. Basically, what that does is clear out all your Valor points, so you have to go back to get more Valor points to get the new tier. So saving your Valor points will get you more Justice points, and if you're a little bit behind on gear, it could be worth it, just because of the fact that you may not have a lot of Valor points, but you may have enough Justice points to almost get something. But, you know, it's not something to say, drop all of the other and go for it. I've also got 3 links down at the bottom. Basically, there's a link, first of all, for a video of the week, and that one actually this week happens to be, basically, it's a comic, or sorry, it's a video sort of done almost comically. It is a Alliance versus Horde, If you haven't seen it before, it's sort of a take on the Apple versus Mac videos, as well as the parodies of those. Quite interesting to look at. And this week's one, basically them pointing to, is a newish release. It's based on a take of Guild Love Island. There's the comic of the week is actually the Daily Blink, who's taken on the New Desmond Journal with a comic related to that. And the add-on of the week is actually Q-Bar, and that there is actually by Aze. It's available on curse.com. I've got a link as well. It basically is a quest item bottom bar, and basically it puts anything that's a quest item and pushes it right on up to basically where you've got your to wherever you choose to put it. It's adjustable for wherever you move it. You can mirror it back and forth, have it go from left to right, right to left because of that, or you can also have it go vertically. It's quite easy to use, and it's great for when you're leveling. It doesn't really affect in-game level so much, but for leveling it's quite nice. And they did actually do